It said people from Bangladesh engineered the riots. You want polarization. You want to divide Hindus and Muslims. But if the Union Home Minister cuts the branch on which he sits, then we have to speak out. You may hold secret meetings with Muhammad Yunus. She's referring, of course, to the advisor to the Bangladesh caretaker government. We would not say anything if that helps. But what is your real intention? To get people from Bangladesh and start riots here? Unquote. The question is, viewers, why is Mamata Banerjee not calling a spade a spade? Why is she going to extra lengths to whitewash the role of the Muslim community in Murshidabad? And by not calling out the perpetrators, is she giving a free pass to one community to target Hindus with impunity? Is she ready to sacrifice Hindu lives for vote bank considerations? Viewers, today you had a situation, and let me tell you this, where the family of the two Hindus who were murdered in Murshidabad district refused to take compensation from the Bengal government, saying that your money is not going to bring us justice or bring back our relatives from the dead. Don't try to buy us out. Viewers, let's open this up because some questions need to be asked. And these questions need to be asked, viewers, in a compelling manner. A manner that will now, for once, go a long way in exposing the truth. But the Supreme Court is seized of this matter, viewers. It is seized and it is wanting very clearly to send out a message. And let me once again repeat that message, viewers, in case it is lost on anyone, and especially our guests from the TMC and others. The Supreme Court said, and let me quickly recap, one thing that is very disturbing. One thing that is very disturbing is the violence. And they were talking about Murshidabad, viewers, and we're going to put that quote of the Supreme Court bench today, as it looked very warily on, with great concern at the situation. You see, viewers, these are not isolated incidents. There has been a street veto that has been applied in Bengal repeatedly. In fact, that street veto we saw at the height of the anti-CAA protests, even in the union capital. So the Supreme Court, realizing that a pattern is emerging, said one thing that is very disturbing is the violence. The matter is before court and we will decide. They are talking about, of course, the overarching Waqf issue, and we will decide. This should not happen, unquote. Now we are going to go straight across to Shahid Ali. Asif Iqbal Ansari, a TMC leader, will also be with us. Sanju Verma is going to be with us. Ishkan Bhandari also. But let me just start this off in the manner that obviously portends a very serious issue that is developing in Bengal. Clearly, the law and order machinery has failed. It has crashed there. And therefore, it becomes incumbent upon me to ask that fundamental question of Asif Iqbal Ansari, who is a TMC supporter, a TMC leader. Mr. Ansari, why is Mamata Banerjee not calling a spade a spade? The Supreme Court is seized of this issue. It has expressed concern. It knows that the factors are internal. They are not external. If they were external, they would have actually directed their wrath, their anger, their concern to the central government. But Mamata Banerjee doesn't want to call a spade a spade. Why is she going to great lengths to whitewash the role of the Muslim mob in Murshidabad, sir? Can you please explain this?
Well, Jacob, good evening to you and good evening to all my panelists. The question which you have asked is very vague questions to be asked in a simple manner, I must say. As Mamata Banerjee, it's nothing an impersonal thing that she is against of any community, because she has the epitomes and the quintessential secular leader of India. So there is no point calling her that she is an anti-Hindu. What has happened is the repercussions against the unconstitutional bill that was passed by the parliament, that of amendment bill. And there was apprehensions before also that Mamata Banerjee has reported to the Home Ministry about the sneaking of Bangladeshi infiltrators to by the borders. Now, what has happened? We have seen that most of the BSF personnel impersonating themselves as a BSF, though they were not the BSF, because they were not maintaining the decorum of their dresses. They have been identified as the writers and the plunderers over there. So they were the peoples who have provoked and instigated the violence over there. But within a no time, Mamata Banerjee government and BSF itself has controlled the violence over there. So there is nothing more to concern about that. But now today also, Mamata Banerjee has organized a meeting in what we call Netaji Indoor Stadium, where she called the all responsible from the Muslim community, from Imam and Muezzin, and she appealed that if you have any problem with this amendment bill, please do not demonstrate on the road, that it could turn into a violent section, because there are people who can going to dilute from the crowd which you are taking, and this some kind of mishappening can happen. So she has appealed very vehemently to the Maulanas and the Muazzin of West Bengal. If there is any kind of demonstration, please
Can
do
you
peacefully
imagine,
and in a
viewers?
very harsh
Can
language.
you imagine,
And
viewers, Mr. Ansari here? Mr. Ansari here is willing to malign the image of the BSF.
Exactly.
Sir, absolutely
Mamata
not.
Banerjee
Sir,
says, and I
absolutely not.
quote, one second, Mr.
Yes,
Ansari, I didn't
absolutely
speak over
not.
you. Just keep quiet now. Listen.
Sir,
1 second, please. I didn't speak over you. Show me that courtesy at least. Did I interrupt you even once?
sir, I need to correct you on
No,
the
you don't need to
statement
correct
you are
me, sir.
giving.
I've heard you. The world has heard you. You have,
I
sir,
say there are
no
people who
backbone. You have no
impersonated
conscience
themselves as a
and you
BSF.
have zero. You have zero facts. Viewers, this is what Mamata Banerjee says. Look at where she's getting her facts, viewers. I saw a social media post. A social media post, viewers. The Chief Minister of a state is going by social media posts.
Exactly.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it, viewers? Why do we have a Home Minister and a Chief Minister of a state when all she believes is the social media? This is a scenario in West Bengal today, viewers. A Chief Minister quotes social media. And she says, you want polarization. She's referring to the BJP and Amit Shah. You want to divide Hindus and Muslims. You may hold secret meetings with Muhammad Yunus. So she is even willing to today put on a pedestal Muhammad Yunus, implying that the BJP, who actually ticked off Muhammad Yunus, who got the United States to tick him off and put him in his place, Muhammad Yunus, who goes to China, Muhammad Yunus, who tells China, take over the chicken's neck. She says that the union government is collaborating with that Muhammad Yunus who leads a pogrom against Hindus in Bangladesh.
Exactly.
Is she the Chief Minister of an Indian state? I'm leaving that question for you to ponder, viewers. Can you believe it? The same Chief Minister spares very little time in taking on Hindu so-called right wing, saying that they are the cause, they provoke, they do this, they do that. Who? Tell me, Mr. Asif Ansari, how can an 8-day-old child provoke? 8-day-old child in a Muslim majority area, an 8-day-old Hindu child, how can that child provoke?
Sir, that is not about, that is a very unfortunate and deplorable incident.
That is
has
now
happened.
listen to
That
me,
has-
viewers. Asif
that has
Iqbal
happened.
Ansari.
Okay,
No,
right.
actually, Asif
That has
Iqbal
happened.
Ansari today is whitewashing a massive crime. You see, viewers, I am not saying it. The displaced Hindus are wanting the BSF there. And we showed you the soundbite yesterday, and I'll pull it out again. It is the displaced Hindus who are saying, please don't remove the BSF. You don't know what will happen to us. Sanju Verma, why don't you
Sir,
respond
for your
to
kind-
Mr.
for
Iqbal
your-
Ansari? No, I'll play it out, sir.
You know,
I'll play it
Rahul-
out. I don't go by social media. We had her on ANI. The world has seen that reaction. I'll bring it and I'll
Sir,
play it.
please go ahead, sir. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
of course. Look at how
No issue, no
insensitive
issue.
you are, sir. You couldn't even bring yourself to commiserate. Let's play out that soundbite. Let him hear it.
इलाका का सिचुएशन तो बहुत ही खराब है, बहुत ही डरावना मचा हुआ है। हम लोगों को शांति चाहिए, सुरक्षा चाहिए, और ऐसा सिचुएशन क्यों आया है उसका भी सॉल्व चाहिए हम लोगों को, कि ऐसा सिचुएशन दोबारा ना होए। और हाँ, हम लोगों का सुरक्षा चाहिए, परमानेंट सेंट्रल फोर्स का सुरक्षा चाहिए।
We want a central force. Now, going by Mamata Banerjee's soundbite today, and she read it on the social media, the Hindus there, Sanju Verma, please respond. The Hindus there want the BSF that is collaborating with Bangladeshi Muslims to attack them, to safeguard them. I mean, where is the logic? Sanju Verma, could you respond to Mr. Ansari? What is the issue?
Rahul, first and foremost, thank you so much for calling out the bluff of, the TMC dispensation, and for calling a spade a spade. I don't think too many primetime anchors have been doing that over the last 72 hours. We need to call out the incompetence of Mamata Banerjee. Is Mamata Banerjee the chief minister, and has she failed in her duties? Yes. Is Mamata Banerjee also the home minister, and has she failed in her duties? Yes. Is law and order a state subject under the 7th schedule of the constitution? Yes. By that logic, is Mamata Banerjee responsible for the lawlessness and the mayhem that has gripped Bengal? The answer is yes. What did the Maulana say prior to the violence that occurred? आज खामोशी है, कल कोहराम मचेगा. आज कुत्तों का दिन है, कल हमारा वक्त आएगा. I'm sorry to use, certain profanities on national TV, but when the Maulanas, Maulvis were making these incendiary statements, the police constabulary of Mamata Banerjee had consumed Fevicol in wholesale. Please keep quiet. I did not heckle you. बदतमीजी मत करो. मैंने आपको टोका नहीं, बदतमीजी मत करो.
Mr. Ansari, let her finish. She never interrupted you. Did she interrupt you? You can also throw a stone at her if you want. But please, maintain some decorum. Maintain some decorum. Maintain some decorum. She's making a point. Maintain some decorum.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Ansari, don't teach me what I should say and what I should not. I will speak exactly what I want to say. शांत हो जाओ. शांत हो जाओ. बदतमीजी मत करो. मैंने आपको टोका नहीं. राहुल, either I speak or you.
Mr. Ansari, let her speak. Do you want to police now what she is also going to say? You can respond to it. I'm not stopping you, but let her speak. How can you silence people? Have you become so used to clamping down on any form of dissent that you can't even tolerate it on television anymore?
Sir, we are very much in it.
So then listen. Keep your ears open. You can respond. You can say whatever you want in your response, whether as long as it's parliamentary. Yes.
Thank you. Rahul, very quickly, there is a pattern, and now the pattern is unmistakable in the public domain for everyone to see how Mamata Banerjee rationalizes, trivializes, and normalizes Hindu phobia and violence against Hindus. And I'm saying this with a lot of responsibility. I will corroborate my statement with hard facts. 2016, Kalia Chowk Malda riots. 2017, Bhaduria riots. 2018, Dhunagar riots. 2019, Jadavpur riots. 2021, Sita Kulchi riots. 2023, post-poll panchayat violence. And of course, 2022, the Birbhum riots. And now in 2025, the Murshidabad violence. I have not even spoken about the violence pertaining to Ram Navami, Saraswati Puja, Hanuman Jayanti, which has become par for the course. But all these incidents, जो मैंने अभी गिनवाए, मालवा से लेके बशीरहाट, भदौरिया से लेके धुलाघाट, जादवपुर से लेके सीता कुलची, the victims were Hindus. The perpetrators were radical Islamists. And my final point is this, Rahul, I'm ashamed. Forget about whether the victims are Hindus or Muslims. But can you imagine? And I'm going to take names. I will be responsible for the names that I take. Yusuf Pathan, who is the member of parliament from Berhampur, which is the administrative headquarters of Murshidabad, rather than condemning the violence, he is posting posts on X कि भाई चाय बड़ी मजेदार है, डेरेक ओब्रायन भाई माछर झोल बड़ा मजेदार है, Sagarika Ghosh goes one step further. She says saffron goons are unable to digest the fact that law and order is at its finest in the state of West Bengal. मतलब hypocrisy, बेशर्मी, नासमझी और दोगलेपन की सारी हदें पार कर दी है टीएमसी के एक नेता ने. And my final point, Rahul, 10 seconds. Final point is this: NCRB data, provisional one. 2021 incidents of communal violence in West Bengal 2.37 lakh. 2022 incidents of communal violence in West Bengal 3.49 lakh. Incidents of communal violence in West Bengal in 2023 4.73 lakh. और इसके बाद टीएमसी के दरबारी चाहते हैं कि हम नेशनल टीवी पर ममता बनर्जी की शाबाशी दें और तालियां बजाएं.
Actually, let me tell you, there are others. A member of parliament from the TMC, Bapi, who has come out, and in fact I have his quote, Bapi Haldar, who has come out, viewers, and he says, we'll gouge your eyes out. We'll chop your hands off. We'll do all sorts of things. So I don't know who the provocateurs are here. It's quite clear who they are. Who is inciting? The Supreme Court has stepped in. And this brazenness, Ishkaran Bhandari. And I want to also bring in at this moment Shahid Ali. Shahid Ali.
Yes, Rahul.
It's not as if the courts have not pulled up the Mamata Banerjee government. Today, you have a situation where a street veto is being exercised. And there are ministers and MPs and other legislators of the TMC who are coming out on national TV on this channel previously, who have said, you see, every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction. Is this the way, Mr. Shahid Ali? Can you bring yourself at least to name the perpetrators? The TMC has a problem, but I'm sure you don't. You're a sensible man of the law.
So we unequivocally condemn all kind of violence. In the name of religion, in the name of caste, in sex, anything. We condemn, absolutely, in clear terms. Violence should not have any place. Whether violence is perpetrated against the Hindus or Muslim, violence is violence. Ultimately, the humanity dies. Even if single human being dies, entire humanity dies.
So let me ask you, this is a very good, I congratulate you, Shahid Ali. So let me ask you, do you therefore believe the interest of ensuring justice, Mamata Banerjee should clearly come out and counsel Muslim mobs from not resorting to violence? Should she not name them?
I think this is a subject of investigation as to who had perpetrated the violence, because once the Mamata Banerjee had assured the Muslims of West Bengal that the Waqf amendments will not be applicable there in Bengal, then even thereafter the violence had been occurred. So this is the question of serious concern as to who has done this. We believe that some intruders, and this is, I think, this what should I say? This has been propagated. This has been done intentionally by someone.
Okay.
This has intentionally been done.
So there you go, viewers. Here is another gentleman who started with many platitudes, saying the right things, but when it came to naming the perpetrators, now viewers, just imagine.
So if
I were to ask Mr. Shahid Ali today to say that there was a great conspiracy against then Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi when he was being framed for the Gujarat riots, he'd say no, he was guilty of it. Even though the Supreme Court has looked at everything, and at that time the investigative agencies were controlled, as they said, with the cage pirates of the UPA. Now viewers, think about this. Why is there such a reluctance to call out the perpetrators of one community, and why is why is guilt imputed even without the evidence? In another case, viewers, let me tell you, in Nashik, last night, viewers, we are talking about a reaction. You see, and I want to bring in Mr. Ishkaran Bhandari also. You know, we've heard the nice words of Shahid Ali, but when it
the
came to it,
riots are
even
broke out
Shahid
in
Ali looked
Gujarat,
the
you
other
will
way.
say
So I'm
that
asking you,
investigation have to
no,
be
no,
conducted.
one second.
But
See,
if the riots are broke out in Bengal, you will say,
I mean, just
no,
look at the way,
no
viewers, he
investigation
says,
is
it's a matter of investigation.
I'm just
It's a
putting it to
matter
you.
of investigation. Who actually was behind the ISF goons were behind, they've been arrested, thankfully. After a lot of pressure was built, 8 or 9 of them have been arrested. Now they'll say ISF is a Pakistani outfit.
Yes.
I mean, can you believe it, viewers? They think we are blind. Unfortunately, let me also tell you, viewers, hundreds of Hindus will still line up to vote. I don't even need to tell you for whom. So, Ishkan Bhandari, I want to ask you, in Nashik, a mob last night comes out and attacks the municipal corporation officials for carrying out a demolition of a dargah. That dargah had been earmarked for demolition. It was on encroached land 15 days ago. 15 days ago, a notice was sent. Due process was followed to say, please take care of these obvious encroachments yourself, failing which we'll come in. So they go in after 15 days, after the entire period is elapsed. And they begin what they are expected to do, that they are asked to do by taxpayers. But guess what happens? They are attacked, pelted with stones, policemen are injured, they are beaten black and blue. Now they'll say these are the people who came from Timbuktu. They were brought in by Modi and Shah from Timbuktu to do this. What do you make of this?
Rahul, what I make of this is Bharat is facing a grave danger. Let us not mince words, because now a new evil strategy has come into being. That strategy being that if the parliament passes a law which it is entitled to do, because in 2024 you had an entire campaign run on how constitution is supreme. When parliament passes a law which you do not agree with, you will resort to violence in one part or the other of India so as to ensure that the law does not become implemented. And it's not the first time. The same thing they do with administrative action, as you pointed out in Nasik, or against judicial orders. James Bond said once is a happenstance, 2 times is a coincidence, 3rd time it's enemy action. And this strategy, let's start with Shaheen Bagh. It affected no Indian Muslim, yet we had Shaheen Bagh where women, dadis, children were kept in front. It resulted in Delhi riots. We had a Sharjeel Imam that time talking about chicken neck and how it needs to be separated. Why? Because parliament passed a law. The same thing against judicial order. We have had debates. What was Sambal? Order by court of a survey, and we had violence being resorted, rooftops being used to hurl missiles at people. What do we have if some demolition order is carried out? If you have occupied land illegally, public land, you have blocked the road, you have caused harassment to people who can't travel through it, then again we have violence. And the worst part is that you will have on TV and on ground way worse, people justifying it, saying if a law has come out, the only way to stop it is Takat dikhao, Shakti dikhao, and way worse. I don't want to repeat all those incitatory statements that have been made, because they do not believe in democracy. Rahul, that is the problem. Till now, we used to have, if you do not like a government, vote it out. If you believe a law violates your rights, go to Supreme Court. But now this evil dimension of, if you don't like a law, last 4 or 5 years have shown there will be large scale violence. It didn't happen in Delhi this time, probably because the chief minister has changed. But it is happening in other parts, and
it's not happening in Assam.
A serious danger to
It's not
Bharat.
happening in
We need to
Assam, where
curb
there
it.
are at least...
Yes, it's not happening in Assam.
Yeah, at most of the border areas in Assam today that are bordering Bangladesh have a Muslim majority population. There's no one running around throwing stones,
Yes.
etc. That's also a border, that's also guarded by BSF viewers. So just think about it. Think about what is actually going on here. One second. You know, I also want to make a quick point before I go across to Shivshankar Jain, who's joining the broadcast for a few seconds. Let me just go across to him, Sanju Verma. Just give me 2 seconds. I need to bring him into this because there's also been, of course, a massive hearing in the Supreme Court, viewers. And you know, we are talking about this street justice. I just want to put a fact out for you. In Nasik, I go back to Nasik because there is no reason for anyone to suspect the involvement of any outsider there. So in Nasik, the municipal corporation is targeted for doing its job in removing an encroachment, an encroaching dargah. 1,000 such temples and Hindu places of worship were removed in Maharashtra over the last 1 year Did you hear of any Hindus going out there and attacking the administration? No, viewers, you didn't. So there is clearly something. Some people think they're more equal than the others, and the time has come to end this nonsense. People must be prosecuted. But, viewers, the attempt was being made, a reform was being brought in, the Waqf Amendment Act. Now, in court today, it was almost touch and go for the backers of secular constitutionalism. And I'm talking about what happened in the Supreme Court today. As they were able to get the Supreme Court to take a step back from issuing an interim order on the amended Waqf law by seeking time to argue their case. The Supreme Court raised 3 points that challenged some key features of the controversial Waqf amendment law passed by Parliament earlier this month. So, it was on the verge of saying 3 things we don't agree with in this particular law. We are going to pass an interim order staying them. Viewers, the SG, the Solicitor General of India, Mr. Mehta, pleaded with the court to hear them out before they passed any such order. The 3-judge bench led by Justice Sanjeev Khanna agreed, and tomorrow they will hear the matter again. Supreme Court said, quote, our interim order will balance equities. We will say that whichever properties were declared by the court to be Waqf will not be denotified or treated as non-Waqf, whether it's Waqf by user or not. Collector can continue with proceedings, but the proviso will not be given effect to. Regarding board and council, ex officio members can be appointed, but the other members have to be Muslims, unquote. This is the court's view right now. They might be convinced otherwise tomorrow. The Supreme Court on Wednesday, that is today, proposed to pass an interim order with the following directions: that the properties declared by courts as Waqfs should not be denotified as Waqfs, whether they are by Waqf by user or Waqf by deed, while the court is hearing the matter. The proviso of the Amendment Act, as per which a Waqf property will not be treated as a Waqf while the collector is conducting an inquiry on whether the property is a government land, will not be given effect to. Which means, viewers, if a collector deems that the Waqf has taken government land by fraud, he can't go ahead and arbitrate that issue. All members of the Waqf boards and Central Waqf Council must be Muslims except the ex officio members. So, viewers, these 3 actions would have been taken and this amendment would have been on these 3 counts stayed, and it would have become toothless. So what to make really of the day in court? Are the scales tilted in favor of an ecosystem that seeks a rollback of the law because it undermines the Sharia-enabled actions of the Waqf boards? Let's bring in one of the interested parties, Shivshankar Jain, and ask him, because it is a Hindu side, or rather his side, that is finding the going tough. And let me ask you, the Supreme Court says, Mr. Jain, that if the Act seeks to denote Waqf properties, it will be an issue. Is this a setback for you? Do you see it as that?
See, according to me and my stand is that we are going to explain to the Honorable Supreme Court that Waqf by user is a draconian concept. There is no concept of Waqf by user in Islamic law, and assuming for the sake of argument, if there is a concept so blatant and so vague as Waqf by user under Islamic law, then it is completely in violation and in teeth of Article 300A of the Constitution of India. Waqf by user is a concept which is in violation of Article 14, 21, 25, 26 as well as 29 and 30 of the Constitution of India. So Waqf by user, if this concept exists, is the most vague concept. If you do not have any Waqf deed, if you do not have any right, title or existence over a property in question, just by using that property, how can it become a Waqf property? So Waqf by user is a completely draconian concept, and the Parliament, and by its wisdom, has rightly deleted the concept of Waqf by user in the present Amendment Act 2025, and certain properties which have been registered wrongly as Waqf by user, if it is to be denotified, if there is a dispute, the protection of Waqf by user will not be available, is the amendment which has been brought. I completely support this amendment, and let me tell you that in Gyan Vyapi case, in Ram Mandir case, the concept of Waqf by user has been invoked. In Bangalore's Eidgah Maidan case, the concept of Waqf by user has been invoked. So this is the most draconian and vague concept, and we are going to argue before the Supreme Court that the amendment of 2025, so far as verb by user disputed properties are concerned,
No, but good
is a
luck to
valid
you.
amendment and it should be there in the statute books.
I know you will be arguing tomorrow. Good luck to you, because at least on the basis of what transpired today, it doesn't look as if there is room to register a rebuttal, because the Supreme Court seemed pretty convinced with the arguments of the petitioners. Do you agree with that?
See, there is a lot of issue here. The Solicitor General has also argued that so far as interim order is concerned, so far as balance of equities is concerned, and let me also tell you, Rahul, Mr. Salve was also appearing in the matter today, and all of us have pointed out jointly that there are two sides of the coin. One side is saying that the original Waqf Act 1995 is invalid. The concept of verb by user is unconstitutional, and the other side is saying to implement the provisions of verb by user concept. So both the sides are here, and both the sides must be heard before passing an interim order, and therefore the Honorable Supreme Court has listed the matter tomorrow at 2 p.m. for further hearing so far as the issue of interim order is concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. Make or break day for you, for Mr. Salve and others who are representing the union government point of view and other interested parties who want this amendment to go through, including many Muslims viewers. Many Muslims. This is a representative legislation. But, viewers, the Supreme Court might have its own ideas. We'll, of course, be bringing you ball-by-ball coverage. Tomorrow, you have to be glued to your screen. This is a momentous day because, viewers, what is really going to happen tomorrow is that one side will say that Sharia-enabled Waqf Act of the past, must take precedent over the secular constitution of this country. The Supreme Court has to decide. We'll be bringing you that coverage. But viewers, I want to move on because there is a very important story of national implications. If you're charged with fraud, the best thing to do is to prove your innocence in a court of law. This is commonsensical. But the Congress party and the Vadra Gandhis are determined to prove their innocence in cases brought against them by the Enforcement Directorate on the street or in the court of public opinion. How can I say this? Because, viewers, over the last 24 hours, Mr. Vadra has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate, and of course the Enforcement Directorate has filed a charge sheet, the first ever charge sheet, in the context of the Herald House scam against accused number 1 Sonia Gandhi and accused number 2 Rahul Gandhi. And the Congress party has gone completely stark raving. They are saying that this is the beginning of the end of constitutionalism in our country. The Enforcement Directorate should be shut down. Now, all of you know by now this case. So I won't go over it in detail, and I'm talking about the Herald House matter. Suffice to say, the ED claims that the Congress party gave over rupees 90 crores to debt-ridden Associated Journal Limited, which owned the National Herald newspaper and several valuable properties. A new private company called Young Indian, owned by Sonia and Rahul Gandhi, took over this debt and acquired control of the AJL for 50 lakhs, effectively getting its assets worth hundreds of crores almost free. So, for 50 lakhs, they get crores and crores of assets of AJL. The ED says that instead of selling the assets of AJL and paying back creditors who were shareholders of AJL, the entire holding of AJL was siphoned off to the Gandhis, who gained beneficial interest which should have naturally accrued to the Congress party and AJL's original shareholders. It was the Congress that gave the 90 crore loan. Where is the Congress getting its money from? From donations. Who are the donees, viewers? It's ordinary voters, the people of this country. So if anyone should be paid back, it is the donees. But no, viewers. The assets go, everything goes, which could have been liquidated to recover the debt. All of them go lock stock to the Gandhi families. The Gandhis deny this and have moved court earlier to shut down the investigation, but the court hasn't obliged, and 4 years after the ED began its probe, it has filed a charge sheet eliciting hows of protest from the Congress and the Gandhi Vadra family. Mallikarjun Kharge, Congress president, has said Congress party and the Gandhis are being troubled unnecessarily. There is nothing in the case. It was shut down for some time due to financial troubles. Sonia Gandhi tried to revive it with some loans and donations. Now they are saying it is wrong to take loans and donations, unquote. It was the Congress that took the loans and donations, not Sonia Gandhi. Abhishek Singhvi, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, who's a lawyer, Congress MP, says, quote, this is nothing but vendetta in legal disguise. ED should answer why no NDA ally or BJP leader has ever been touched by the Enforcement Directorate. Selective justice is actually nothing but political thuggery, unquote. Jairam Ramesh, Congress media in charge, says, quote, filing charge sheets against Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and some others is nothing but the politics of vendetta and intimidation by the Prime Minister and the Home Minister gone completely berserk, unquote. The BJP calls this a sympathy stunt. Ravishankar Prasad, BJP MP and former Union Minister, says, and I quote him, the newspaper which was supposed to strengthen the voice of the people fighting for independence, they turned that newspaper into a private business and ATM. One thing should be kept in mind, that Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi are out on bail. They knocked on the doors of the High Court and Supreme Court to quash the case but did not get any relief, unquote. The Congress and the Gandhis have a reason to be worried. The ED is not to be trifled with. It usually does its homework and makes the charges stick. And let me give you some hard facts. Total money laundering cases that have been filed by the ED in the past 10 years is about 5,297. Of these 5,297 probes, trials have been completed in only 43 cases, viewers. This is a big lacune. But out of the 43 trials that were completed in cases under PMLA convictions, secured in 40 cases at a 93% success rate. So yes, while a lot of the cases continue to be probed and they don't come to the trial stage, when they do, the ED ensures that they get their person. 93% is their success rate. 99.2% of the PMLA cases filed by ED only in the probe stage, and this is a problem, viewers. I'm not trying to hide this. This is a big problem because many people, when they are slapped by these very draconian provisions of the law like PMLA, etc., basically have to stew. And the process becomes the punishment. So the ED must not leave 99.2% of the cases hanging. They should bring them all to trial so that those poor people can get off the hook. But that having been said, only 2.98% of the ED cases have been filed against sitting or former central or state level legislators. So that's not a big number. In only 9% of the cases has ED conducted raids against individuals of interest. So there is no large raid raj that is going on. But the questions need to be posed. Is the attempt to character assassinate the ED a thinly disguised attempt at pressuring the criminal justice system? If Gandhis are so convinced of their innocence, why don't they submit to the trial and prove their innocence in court instead of trying constantly to question the system and move to quashing the matter? Let's open this up. Let's have a conversation. Let me begin first with Dr. Raman. Dr. Raman, what do you make of the defense of the Congress party? Look, I would presume if the court has not given you relief, it hasn't quashed the matter, face the issue. Why spark all this massive fury, sound, noise, say that look, the ED is discredited, it's this, it's that, blah, blah, blue, that we don't believe, we don't trust, nothing. Go get the matter settled in court.
But how do you get the matter settled when it has taken 13 years to file a charge sheet?
It hasn't taken 13 years, sir. You got your maths
It has
wrong.
taken
No, 1 second.
11 years,
The ED
11
began the
years.
case when,
Okay.
sir? The ED began the case when?
My question is, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy filed the original
So that
case.
is up. And do you know he put a
13
stay
years
on it?
ago.
But 1 minute, Dr. Raman,
No,
I'm
no, 1
asking you.
minute.
We are
Which
talking about
court-
the
which
Enforcement
court-
Directorate because the Congress is
which
talking about
court-
the Enforcement Directorate. So please
which
answer my
court-
question. You said 13 years,
There is a
12 years,
stay.
10
1
years.
minute.
I'm asking
1
you.
minute. 1 minute. Which court gave a stay on filing a charge sheet? To the best of my knowledge, no court has given a stay against the ED on either getting involved in the case or filing a charge sheet. What took them so long?
It
Okay,
took them
let's
4
forget
years,
the
not
delay.
12 years, sir.
Let's
Please get the
forget-
facts right.
No. There
What
was
no?
there was no reason why they could not have got involved earlier and filed a charge sheet. Point really is no court gave them a stay. Delhi High Court said you can continue the investigation. Supreme Court said you can continue the investigation. Now let's come to the facts of this case. Now this so-called money laundering.
No,
Where
why
is
did the
money?
Supreme Court and the High
No, no,
Court
wait,
say
wait,
let the
wait.
investigation
Rahul, can I
continue?
come in, please?
Yeah, when
Rahul,
ED comes
One
and
second,
says,
one second,
no,
one second.
1 minute. Look, when ED comes up and puts up a case, they put up a case against Mr. Chidambaram. You remember saying he has 14 foreign properties and all that. when such facts are, court cannot go into the facts of the case at that point of time. So they will say, okay, let the investigation continue. So when you make such claims, nothing happens to the ED officers who actually make such claims and then their claims are proven to be false. But the point really is that when an agency is putting on record things like we have found enormous evidence of this, the court cannot say, oh, no, we don't bother about the evidence. The court will say, yes, continue the investigation. Now, coming to the point.
I need to come in here. Rahul.
Yeah,
Now,
1 second.
as far 1 minute, this matter, let us look at the facts of the case. What you very cleverly avoided saying is Young Indian is a not-for-profit company. Not-for-profit company cannot give dividends. It cannot pay off the directors and give them money. What are we talking about? Where has Rahul Gandhi taken this money? Where has Sonia Gandhi taken? If you are not able to show any evidence that money has been taken out of Young Indian into the, okay, supposing there was a
Where did the 90 crores go?
No, 1 minute.
Where did the 90 crores go?
Please find out.
Please find out.
If they had,
That's why the ED has probed, it is found out, and it is filed a charge sheet.
No, it is not. It has not at any point said the money has gone into Rahul Gandhi's account.
Okay, one second. Let me bring in. Okay, fair enough. Let me bring in
Please
Sanju Verma.
listen to what Abhishek Singhvi has said about the case. He says money laundering where the money is not been laundered anywhere. It is
Okay,
right
so
there.
we must listen to Dr. Abhishek Singhvi. He's the
him.
paragon of all the facts and not the
he's
ED.
not.
Whose charge sheet will now be looked over with a fine-tooth comb in just about 10 days, viewers. Anyhow, okay.
Please continue the investigation for another 20 years.
Okay,
No
20
problem.
years. Sanju
Every
Verma.
5 years, every 5
He
years.
says
we
it
keep
takes
filing
10 years for the
That's not
ED.
fair.
They could have
If
entered
Bihar
this
election
matter
is
earlier,
coming-
Sanju Verma. Why is the delay? We are just going to run around in circles.
Okay, I heard Mr. Raman.
Yeah.
Rahul, very quickly, though this topic has been debated ad nauseum, for the benefit of your viewers, it was on November 23rd, 2010 that a company called Young Indian Limited was formed. And guess what? In less than a month, on the 30th of December 2010, Rahul Gandhi becomes the director on the board of Young Indian. It does not stop there. Within 3 days, on the 16th of December 2010, Associated Journals Limited transfers all its assets to Young Indian. Now it gets even better. Barely within 2 months of being formed, on the 22nd of January 2011, Sonia Gandhi also joins on the board of directors of Young Indian. So the first point I am making is that the rapidity with which Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi not only acquired a 76% stake but came onto the board of directors, and the rapidity with which 99.99% assets of AGL were transferred to Young Indian, which is basically owned by Rahul, Sonia and also Priyanka Vadra through two trusts called the Ratandeep Trust and the Janhit Nidhi Trust. It is amply clear that Young Indian is owned by the Gandhis. It is amply clear that the 90.21 crore loan that was given by Congress to Associated Journals, nothing came of it. All of the loan was converted into equity without even holding an AGM in violation of company rules of 1956 and the Companies Act of 2013.
Okay.
But what is very interesting is this. Final point, Rahul. You need to understand very carefully that even that 50 lakhs, people keep talking, 50 lakhs was paid to acquire assets worth 2,000 crore. No. Now it has been found that 50 lakhs was only a technical book entry. Even that 50 lakh worth check which was supposedly to be paid by the Gandhis to absolve themselves, that bounced. Which basically means Gandhis acquired 2,000 crore plus worth of assets without even paying that so-called 50 lakhs. They got it by paying zero.
Okay.
Which, and the final point, Rahul, please, final point. Since the enforcement directorate was discussed, I will very quickly just say this. One of the most landmark judgments, 27th July 2002 by Justice Khanvilkar, C.T. Ravi Kumar and Justice Dinesh Maheshwari. They dismissed 241 petitions which doubted the bona fides of the enforcement directorate, saying this court upholds the validity of Section 3, which is definition of money laundering, upholds Section 5, which is attachment of property, upholds Section 8(4), which is taking possession of attached property, upholds Section 17, search and seizure of assets, upholds Section 18, search of concerned persons, upholds Section 19, powers of suo motu arrest, uphold section 24, reverse burden of proof.
Got it.
Uphold section 44 and 45, which make offences under PMLA cognizable and not
Okay.
bailable. Go and read this judgment.
So some people have said, why haven't she been arrested? Why hasn't he already been arrested? That's also something that has been said. But I want to bring you in.
That is waiting for the Bihar elections.
Okay, you're waiting for the Bihar elections. Look, I mean, many people will question the timing. They will question the timing. So I want to bring in Iyer Mitra. Mr. Iyer Mitra, the timing looks suspect to you. Ishkan Bhandari has been somebody who knows the intricacies of the case. So that's why I'm saving the person who can give us an insight for last. But I want to ask you, Iyer Mitra, what do you make of this? The timing and other stuff.
Look, you know that the timing is the least of my worries, and 4 or 5 years into 2014, had this case been lodged in 2018, they would have said this is because of some election in 2018. Had it been in 2014, it would have been because of some state election in 2014. Had it been in 2015, it would have become some state election in 2015. Had it been in 2019, it would have been because of the 2019 general election. This election, cases being lodged for elections, this is a standard Congress tactic. They'll throw it at everybody. Okay, it screams guilt, number one. Number two, why has it come after 14 years? Let's assume that Mr. Raman is right and it has come after 14 years, terrible travesty, whatnot. Had it come even 1 year before, they would have said, what is the hurry? How could you have investigated? Shoddy investigation. Therefore, it shouldn't have come. You know, it is here or there, whatever they can find. Notice nobody is talking to the facts of the case. Now, Rahul, it is a very simple case here. I give you 9 rupees. Okay. You fail, you for whatever reason, unfortunately, you go bankrupt. You cannot give me back 9 rupees. But I give you another 50 paisa and I say there is that Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate which is worth a whole box of chocolate worth 2000 rupees, a carton of chocolate. I am going to take it in its stead. Now, what are all the people who have invested in you? Technically, if you're bankrupt, your assets should be liquidated. Everybody who invested in you should get their share of that Cadbury's Dairy Milk. And my 9 rupee 50, maybe it is one single bar or 2 bars of chocolate that I will get. No, what I have done is I have created a special purpose vehicle. That did not. I have created Abhijit Iyer Mitra Private Limited, which has not given you any money in order to take over Hadap Karo 5, your entire stock of Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Now you tell me in which of this is an illegality. It is a clear case of money laundering. Understand, the whole technicality of money laundering is that there is no one method of money laundering. Money laundering is a variation on a theme. It is it is not A plus B equals C. It is A square plus B square equals C square, A cube plus C cube equals 1,000 different variations on a theme. It is literally like a Carnatic musician who takes one raga and makes 1,000 variations on it. That is how money laundering happens. That is the case out here. Now they are saying because this particular formula, money laundering is only when I take black money, right, give it to somebody, it goes into Hawala and comes back. That is money laundering. Everything else is not money laundering.
Okay.
In which case, none of this Mr. Mehul Choksi, Nirav Modi, none of them are guilty of money laundering in which case.
So you're saying basically this is an open and shut case. That's okay. So let me ask Ishkan Bhandari, because I remember Ishkan Bhandari, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, both of you had been part of this, and I have to ask you this question. What is the one or two things that the Congress must be able to explain if they want to be exonerated? What are the two things that they have to explain which they haven't explained as yet?
Rahul, unfortunately from them, it's a documentary scam. Man may lie, documents do not lie. For example, everybody is talking about 90 crores given by Congress to AGL. By what means was that 90 crore given? What are the checks? Was it actually ever given? And what was the exact amount that was given? The second aspect, anybody watching this, if it's been in any commercial dispute, Rahul, supposing somebody owes you 1 crore rupees, you will contact me or some other lawyer to file a suit for recovery or winding a petition against the company, some legal means to recover the money. What were the legal means taken by Congress, let's say even a legal notice to AGL to recover money? The third question which comes, Supposing they did not say a legal notice to recover money or file a court case for it, why did Congress not itself take over AJL?
Yes.
Why was it not President and General Secretary of Congress will control it? Why did you need to create a special purpose vehicle called Young India? Is Rahul Gandhi a money recovery agent? What is Rahul Gandhi's experience in able to recover a bad debt? Why did you need a company? Because I'll give you the answer also. If you said that now Congress owns it and the president will have control over AJL, the president can change. That time Mrs. Sonia Gandhi was the longest running Congress president, I think 15-20 years. But the possibility existed the president can change. The president could be independent also tomorrow 10 years, 15 years down the line. So if president controlled it, Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi will not control it. That is why you needed this SPV. That is why suddenly a 50 lakh rupees gets you the rights to recover 90 crore rupees, and that gets you the right to have almost 2,000 to 5,000 crores worth of property. Even that 50 lakh rupees, even that entry, Dotex, which gave 1 crore, even that is under investigation.
But my worry,
why did it give 1 crore rupees to a second company?
Yeah, but one
Sir,
second. You see, I want to ask you, Sanju Verma.
That is, I'll just say, last line.
Yeah, please.
Last line, Rahul.
Yeah,
there are so many questions to answer. That is why neither in trial court, nor in High Court, nor in Supreme Court, they got this case quashed.
Okay, so let me ask you, Sanju Verma, because, you know, many people are saying that this is going to go the same way. In fact, Dr. Raman said it. It could be ages, 20 years. We'll constantly be talking about it. 30 years down the line, when none of us have hair on our heads, we'll all be talking about this. And nothing will come of it. Worse, it'll be like Mr. Vadra, who will constantly be thumbing, you know, cocking a snook at all of us, saying, "Bhai, I've been also investigated now for 10 years and nothing has come of it." So, Sanju Verma, explain to me, by when, if there is a matter, should it not be disposed of? If there isn't,
You know, Rahul,
give them their freedom.
Rahul, let's be very clear. They say justice delayed is justice denied. There is also an adage, justice rushed, justice hurried is justice buried. I'm not going to be sitting here and saying, oh, this case should not have been resolved much earlier. Of course it should have been, because this is a watertight case of not just money laundering. This is also a watertight case of tax evasion. If you read the enforcement directorate's, entire charge sheet, you will see that there's tax evasion of more than 479 crores.
Yeah, there are issues.
And there is also non-disclosure of assets. But my limited point is this, Rahul.
Yeah.
Finally, we are at that stage where this case is being brought to fruition, and I will end by saying one thing which nobody on any debate is talking about, which is equally relevant, for which the Gandhis will have to answer. When, please, 10 seconds. When AJL started, it had 5,682 shareholders. Come 2010, the number of shareholders reduced to 1057.
Yeah.
My simple point is, where did those 4,625 shareholders vanish? And Kapil Sibbal, 1 minute. Kapil Sibbal says today there are only 761 shareholders.
True.
So, Baki ke 1,057 minus 761, 296 shareholders in the last 15 years. Where did they vanish?
Viewers, many questions. As Ishkaran Bhandari has said, many questions. We are not the jury, neither are we the judges. But I want to very quickly ask Mr. Iyer Mitra one question. Iyer Mitra, who has more to lose here? The ED or the Gandhis? Very quickly.
The Gandhis. You see, ED has nothing to lose out here.
Okay, ED has nothing to
can
lose. Not even its
this case and
credibility?
nothing is gonna happen.
Not even its
But
credibility?
Not even its credibility.
Well, that's
not
what
even
worries
its
me.
credibility.
Okay, because viewers, remember the statistics I
that.
began with. Very few cases actually come to trial. A lot of them are just hanging fire, and that's also an issue. So I'm not going to be very, very quick in giving the ED benefit of doubt. But now, viewers, it's come to the courts. Let the Indian justice system decide. We have faith in our courts. We leave it at this.
Presented by
except they are much larger, and China wants what we have, what every country wants what we have, the American consumer, or to put it another way, they need our money. So the president, again, has made it quite clear that he's open to a deal with China, but China needs to make a deal with the United States of America.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, good. Nice to meet you.
except they are much larger. And China wants what we have, what every country wants, what we have, the American consumer. Or to put it another way, they need our money. So the president, again, has made it quite clear that he's open to a deal with China, but China needs to make a deal with the United States of America.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Just when you thought it couldn't go worse, Donald Trump has done it. He has raised tariffs on China to 245%. He is also warning America's trade